Director of the Oregon Screams Horror Film Festival. Today with me, I have Matt Shapiro and Paul Newton. Matt is the director of Leggo My Soul. Paul, you wrote Leggo My Soul, and you are also here to talk about your screenplay, American President Demon Hunter. That is an awesome title. First, let's chat about Leggo My Soul. Can you guys give me a rundown about what that is, what that's about?
Paul, do you want to take that?
Sure. Well, it's basically what if child's play, but what if he ended up in a waffle iron instead of the My Buddy doll?
That's awesome.
So the serial killer gets trapped in a waffle iron accidentally, and he's got to torment and kill a family to get his soul into another body.
That's awesome. That is one of the better premises I've heard maybe my entire life.
I agree.
Thank you.
So, just like, we all grew up with Chucky, and we have the Chucky dolls. You could picture maybe the action figure line of this would be a waffle iron. How does the character design work for that?
Precise. Well, a lot like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, but
Okay.
It didn't quite got as popular. Those toys weren't,
Right.
factored very well. So it'd be waffle that attacks, or maybe puppetry waffles.
I love that. It would be like the chompy teeth from
Exactly.
from
Just
Batman.
wind
Yeah.
it up,
There you
and
go.
people are like, I love Leggo My Soul.
That is actually so terrifying. I love that. But what's the tone? Is this horror comedy? Because I can.
It's definitely horror comedy. It's
Okay.
like he touched on. It's kind of child's play. A lot of flavors of the '80s, where
Totally.
you get a good bit of gore, real practical effects that would make
Yep.
you normally laugh if you've watched it a few times, and just that playful playground to be in.
Okay, so what other inspirations did you guys have for this film?
Oh, inspirations were, I think the biggest one was obviously we connected movie, like cinema-wise, we were in sync with a lot of the same movies that we liked. Reading his screenplay, we definitely touched on, I'm thinking this and he was thinking that, and
Right.
we immediately liked it. And our first meeting was right when COVID happened. So we met, and he came in with a Frank Zappa mask on, and I came in with a Guar mask, and I was like, we got it.
Is that a match made in heaven or what?
This is perfect.
That is awesome. And all right, well, what about you, Paul? What kind of influences do you have for writing this thing? You're into child's play. You're into messing with that. How'd you come up with the waffle iron?
Well, I've been writing mostly feature screenplays
Okay.
for a while, and this was the first time I decided I'm writing all this stuff, and it's just sitting on a hard drive. A handful of people get to read it. I want to make something finally, and so this was my first big push to get something made. And so they say write what you know somewhat, and I was a stay-at-home dad for about 12 years.
Okay.
And so I thought a very comfortable place to put it would be in a very domestic setting.
Totally.
Which, and then also some of the horror aspects and the serial killer's lair and things
Right.
that not quite as cozy, but
Totally.
yeah.
Well. So in that time, did you have some run-ins with your waffle iron? A nasty burn here or there that sort of anthropomorphize that into a villain for you?
No. I practice safety in the kitchen.
Okay, good. This is a disclaimer to all aspiring writers. Do not try and counter your own horror villains. Let's keep it purely in the realm of imagination. Everyone, unplug those irons when you're done. Anyway, yeah, thank you. I want to know what it was like shooting this thing, because it's a crazy movie. You do have a waffle iron in there. I want to know, what was the deal with that? How'd you guys make that work?
Oh, we had all kinds of ways to make it work, and as far as shooting it was fun, because we're kind of in Northern California, so we were trying to use kind of Sacramento area. I'm up more towards Tahoe, so we kind of hit as many locations in between that we could find, and it was just a lot of fun. Killer cast, amazing crew, and
Awesome.
it pulled through pretty magically, actually.
That's excellent. And then, Paul, were you involved in the shooting process as well?
Absolutely. I
Okay.
produced it, kind of helped bring everything together and make sure everyone was fed.
Right.
And then other than that, just whatever needed to be done on set,
Okay.
helping out and stuff.
Well, there's definitely a lot of hats to be worn when it comes to independent production. I'm wondering, with a fun and funny movie like this, what's the onset dynamic like? Is that humor registering as people are acting?
Oh, most definitely. I think when you allow, especially actors or effects people, to know that you have a big range, whatever you can bring, push it if you want to, and allowing, especially two of our actors, Hans and Rocky, are extremely good at improv. These guys are funny guys, and so it's almost like, okay, go for it. Okay, we're all dying behind the camera. Like, bring it back a little bit, so we can try to get the dialogue that's in there, so the story gets propelled. But at the same time, like, you got to let natural talent fly,
Totally. Well, that's great. It sounds like the process was actually quite collaborative because everyone was bringing their strengths and being able to touch on their own unique skill sets.
Oh, absolutely. When it comes to film, it's every single person is helping. I mean, I've worked on giant projects where you're just holding the light to directing a small project, and every single thing has to be functioning, or it's just not the same like charisma that everybody brings. You could feel when people are having fun, and that's what it's about. And so, yeah, this was a lot of laughs.
That's so awesome. I'm wondering, do you guys have any specific stories from set that you remember? Anything funny or maybe tragic at the time, but funny now that comes to mind?
It's pretty tragic.
Yeah, a lot of tragedies.
For sure.
No, really, that's a much longer interview.
Okay, for sure. Well, we'll leave that for the behind the scenes commentary on the Blu-ray release, maybe UHG. I don't know what era we're in anymore, but I want to know, did you guys learn anything from the process shooting this film? Anything new insights about filmmaking?
Paul, you want that one?
Yeah, I absolutely learned a lot, especially as primarily a writer, and I, hear everything in my own head and stuff. Once you get on set and realize, oh, people have to actually speak some of these lines, and they have to figure out the blocking, and and bring it into some manner of reality. I made a lot of notes, internal notes about what I'll be doing differently next time.
Okay, for sure. And do you mean that in terms of the writing process, starting from the page, you think that there's stuff to do differently now that you've seen it go from screenplay to screen?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Okay.
I mean, there's obviously some dialogue I'd probably I'd probably tweak, make it a little bit easier to say.
Okay, yeah.
Practice saying it out loud myself before.
Those tongue twisters, yeah.
Right.
Other than that, just ideas of pacing and tone matching and stuff. There's all kinds of little things, but it's mostly subtle things that.
Okay, yeah. Well, and then, so Matt, can you tell me what are you working on now? You guys got this incredible film out. What's next for you?
I'm working on a feature script to go into next year, because I've always, that's why I got into filmmaking. I went to directing school for directing features. And then this one was kind of newer to Sacramento area, Northern California, get to know who's up here, who's doing things, because LA is a different monster. And so
monster is the right term for that.
Yeah, if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. When you leave the studio system, it's like, okay, what was I starting on? And so I'm propelled on a stop motion short.
Oh, sweet.
And then working towards the feature for next year.
Cool. Well, so now, Paul, I'd like to talk about American President Demon Slayer a little bit. That's one of the most fun titles I've gotten to say all day, and I'm just wondering, what is that about?
Well, it's about a young Speaker of the House who ends up becoming president after the vice president disappears mysteriously, and the president then dies, also kind of under mysterious circumstances. And she gets thrust into this situation with evil cult of all the secretaries of state and all the support staff who are trying to trying to pass a religious freedom bill that will basically exempt anyone from any law for religious regions. And so there's this Satanist group that want, blood to run on the streets and stuff, but religious freedom. So how can you oppose it?
Right.
And they end up summoning some demons to try and bring her to their side and get her to sign the executive order. And it's fun. Just, your usual tale.
Right. No, very I've heard that plot 1,000 times. No, and so she becomes the demon slayer of the title.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So that seems like a sink your teeth in kind of script. I like that quite a bit. And so is this maybe the only instance where we would have, president is removed, you go to vice president is removed, you go to Speaker of the House? Is that, in your mind, the only possible reason when that trajectory would happen, a demon takeover in the government?
Sure. Let's say yes.
That was my evening humor. Not great. Well, I want to know what inspired you for this film. I mean, is it political?
Somewhat. I started writing it in 2020, coming up with ideas and all the election cycle and craziness that went through that had me thinking political, but also I kind of wanted to write something that was comfortable for me. I kind of took a lot of aspects from other scripts that I had written, co-written with other people, and this is my first time writing solo. I've been writing with a partner for a lot of years, and I started thinking it was becoming a bit of a crutch, and I kind of wanted to prove to myself that I could write on my own, start to finish. And so I leaned on another crutch, and I took concepts and ideas from my previous script that I was comfortable dealing with, and reworked them. It's a whole new thing, but I've got scripts about zombie presidents and evil cults and demons and stuff all around. So I thought I'll just mix it all up and see what happens.
Well, that's great. And you've already with Leggo My Soul, you had that screenplay and you've seen it gone to screen. Do you write with the final product in mind, the screen product in mind? Are you thinking about cinematography, aesthetic, the general visual tone, stuff like that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, you always have that in your mind. Just maybe after going through Leggo My Soul, I have a slightly more realistic vision of how that works.
Oh, for sure.
But, yeah.
Cool. And so what are you working on now? Are you moving to put American President Demon Slayer on the screen? Is that in the works?
I would love to. I think it's probably beyond my means. Okay. So if someone's interested, wants to have a conversation with me and write me that check, absolutely. Sure. But it's like I want to go full Gremlins, puppets and things and stuff. So it's a little bit more than I want to.
Right.
I don't have access to a White House or anything at the moment. So I've moved on to writing another feature screenplay. This one's about a crypto entomologist. Is that the right word? I don't know. I'm on the spot. I can't think straight.
No, it's all right. It's all good, man.
Basically, it's about ancient bees coming back to life, thawing out as a result of global warming, and kind of making a super hive thing. It's a little bit more of a disaster movie, kind of Sharknado-ish idea.
That sounds rad. Well, it gives me kind of a Jurassic Park feeling because they have that specimen, sitting somewhere ready to be unleashed. Okay, well, that's awesome. I want to know, is there anything that either of you guys want to add about Leggo My Soul or American President Demon Slayer? And I am saying the titles over and over again because I really like them. Hey, anything else you guys want to add?
No, enjoy the movies.
Cool.
No, I'm just so thrilled that it's getting out there. Everyone worked real hard on Lego My Soul, and a great cast and crew. I'm just thrilled that that people are seeing it and enjoying it.
That's awesome. Well, this is going to screen next weekend on October 22nd at a drive-in theater in the Dalles, Oregon. And this seems like a perfect drive-in movie.
Absolutely.
I hope so. Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for making this and submitting it. And thank you for talking to me. I'm very excited to put this on the drive-in screen next weekend.
All right. Thank you
All right,
much.
excited to see it.
You have a good
All
one.
right.
Thank you.
You too. See you guys.